Let us discuss about Parkinsonism disease. Parkinson's disease. Parkinson disease is also called paralysis agitans. Is also called paralysis agitans. Okay. Let's see what happens in Parkinson's disease. In Parkinson's disease, there will be degeneration of nigrostriatal dopaminergic neurons. There will be degeneration of nigrostriatal dopaminergic neurons, and this results in loss of dopamine and dopamine receptors in basal ganglia. This results in loss of dopamine and dopamine receptors in basal ganglia. This results in Parkinson disease. Okay, this is the basic mechanism in Parkinson disease. Let us see the causes of Parkinson disease. So the main thing that happens in Parkinson disease is there is loss of dopamine. There is loss of dopamine and dopamine receptors. Okay, the first thing that you have to remember is loss of dopamine and receptors as well. Okay, the causes are, the first cause is idiopathic. We don't know the cause. The second is there are certain drugs which cause Parkinson's disease. First drug is phenothiazine. Second drug is D2 receptor blockers. Phenothiazine and D2 receptor blocker. D2 receptors in dopamine receptor 2 receptor blockers. Okay, these two drugs are causes. These two drugs they causes Parkinson disease. And one more important chemical is MPP. This is MPP in the sense methylphenylpyridinium. This MPP it destroys the dopaminergic neurons. In basal ganglia. Okay, destroys neurons in basal ganglia. This results in Parkinsonism. Let's see from where this methylphenylpyridinium is formed. This methylphenylpyridinium is formed from methylphenyl tetrahydropyridinium. Methylphenyl tetrahydropyridinium. From this methylphenyl tetrahydropyridinium, an enzyme acts. This enzyme is called monoamino oxidase B. Okay, this enzyme converts methylphenyl tetrahydropyridinium to methylphenylpyridinium. This methylphenylpyridinium will destroy the neurons in basal ganglia that results in Parkinsonism disease. Okay, this is about the causes. Then moving to features of Parkinsonism disease. Features are both hypokinetic movements. In feature there are both hypokinetic movements and hyperkinetic movement. Hypokinetic movements and hyperkinetic movements. Let's see the hypokinetic movements. Hypokinetic movements. In hypokinetic movements, we have three hypokinetic movements. One is akinesia, bradykinesia, and third one is decreased associated movements. Decreased associated movements. Let us see what is akinesia, bradykinesia, and decreased associated movement. First one is akinesia. Akinesia means difficulty in starting a movement. Bradykinesia means slow movement. Bradykinesia is slowness of movement. Bradykinesia means slowness of movement. Third one is decreased associated movement, right? Decreased associated movements. Let's see what is associated movement is. Associated movements means when you walk, you swing your hands, right? Swinging of hands is an associated movement. Okay, so such associated movements will be decreased in Parkinson's disease. This is about, and one more thing that we have to remember here is there will be expressionless face or mask face. There will be expressionless face or mask face. Usually when you talk to others or when you speak to others, you will give some expression through your face, right? You will show some expressions. But a patient suffering from Parkinson's disease will not express any facial expressions. Okay, this is about hypokinetic movements. Now let's move to hyperkinetic movements. Hyperkinetic movements. Hyperkinetic movements. In hyperkinetic movements, we have rigidity. Second one is we'll have cogwheel rigidity. Third one we have tremor. Fourth one we have Festinant gait. Let us see one by one. First one is rigidity. In rigidity, what happens is the main cause of rigidity is in Parkinson's disease. There will be contraction of both agonist muscle and antagonist muscle simultaneously. Okay, there will be contraction of agonist and antagonist muscles simultaneously. Due to this, it results in rigidity. Okay, and one more is cogwheel rigidity. Cogwheel rigidity is nothing but series of catches during passive movement. During passive movement. This is about cogwheel rigidity. Then moving to tremors. These tremors are resting tremors. These are resting tremors. Resting tremors means once you start a movement, then these tremors will not be seen. They will be seen only at rest. Okay, when you start movement, they will not be seen. The cause of this tremor is there will be regular alternating contraction of antagonist muscle. Due to this, it results in tremors. The tremors are due to regular alternating contractions of antagonist muscles. Antagonist muscles which results in tremor. Okay. And the last one is Festinant gait. Festinant gait. In tremors, we have to remember is that tremors are at the frequency of 8 per second. 8 per second. Okay. Now, Festinant gait. In Festinant gait, what happens is the patient will bend forward and take sad and shuffling steps. Will bend forward while walking, and it takes short and shuffling steps. Okay, it appears that he is trying to catch the center of gravity. Okay, in Festinant gait, what the patient does it when he walks, he bends forward and takes short and shuffling steps. Okay, this walking appears that is trying to catch the center of gravity. Okay,